What's up, guys? What's going on? And welcome to AG Codeworks today. And today we are going to be looking at something called the else if statement. The else if statement. That's what we are going to be looking at today. So first of all, let's discuss a bit. What's the else if statement? Now, an else if statement is a conditional statement that can be executed after your first conditional if statement evaluates to false. So it's executed when your if statement evaluates to a false. That means after a false, instead of going straight to the else, you also want to execute some other kind of test or conditional statement. We're going to take an example of how that could be useful in a real life application. Okay, now first of all, let's look at the syntax. So first of all, you would recognize this if statement here. This is our first if statement, right? This is the first if statement. If you've not listened to my last tutorial on if statement, you can just check. I think is the last tutorial on this channel before this particular one. Okay, so I will test this condition. If this condition is true, this statement is executed. If it's false, instead of an else statement, we have an else if here. Okay, else if meaning we also test this. If this is true, we execute this and we are good. But if it is false, we test this one again. If it's still false, then we execute this final statement. And also, please take note that if the if statement is true, this next else if is no longer executed. And if this particular else if evaluates to true, the next else if is not executed. So now here's my note. Alright, so here's our Notepad++ application. Of course, remember, before you can go ahead and run this code, you should have been able to set up your PHP environment. This is my XAMPP server with my Apache running and my MySQL running. So make sure you've started your MySQL server and your Apache web server. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about starting up your server, please check the link in the description and follow up on my previous tutorial on how to set up the environment and then how to write your first simple PHP code so that you can do a quick catch-up program to where we are right now. All right, let's move on. Let's cut the chase and continue. All right, so here's my PHP script here. So I'm going to save the file as in a folder in my htdocs, a folder called AGIT Codeworks. So let's just name it else if.php. all right, so you can code along now. All right, so first of all, you have your PHP tag, right? So now we have an age variable. Age, let's say age is 17. Remember, we are talking about the else if statement. So first of all, else if must be preceded by an if statement. That means an if statement must exist for the else if statement to be valid. All right, so I say if age is less than 18, we're going to display a message on the browser saying age is less than 18. Okay, now normally, in our regular if statement, we should have an else statement here. But what if we have some further evaluations we want to make, or want to run another conditional statement? That's where the else if comes in. So I repeat, the else if is executed if this one evaluates to false. It's not me to have a final else. I can say else if here. So else if helps me check multiple conditions. So else if age, if it's less than 18, let's say it's less than 18. If it's not less than 18, check if it's less than 25. Okay, if it's less than 25, display age is less than 25. Okay, if it's not less than 25, you can have another else if here. So by the way, you can have as many else ifs as possible before your final else. So I will say else if again. Else if age is less than 35. If it is less than 35, we are going to have a message that says age is less than 35. All right, now if this conditional expression is not true, and this is not true, and this is also not true, then we have a final else, which would say something like let's just say invalid age. All right, let's see how this works out for us on the browser. So let's execute this file, copy the full file path to clipboard. Let's open our Google Chrome, paste it here, then from htdocs, localhost, I run the file. So it says age is less than 18. Why? Because this age you see here is 17, so it's less than 18. What if it's not less than 18? Let's say it's 23. All right, so we refresh this. So now it says age is less than 25. Why? How did that evaluation come to be? It tested if age was less than 18. Of course, no. It went ahead to test if age is less than 25. Yes, so it executes this and ignores the rest of the code, and so on and so forth. So invalid age happens when none of these conditions are true. For example, let's say age is 60. Now there's no valid condition here anymore. That would give us invalid age. All right, okay, so that's it. Please code along, execute this code successfully. Then in the next tutorial we are going to be looking at the and the or logical operators. Then we are going to be writing a simple program that will test the age, an age variable, and tell us if the person is a teenager or not, or maybe if it's a toddler or an elderly person, and so on and so forth. That's what I have for you today. Thanks for tagging along, and please do not forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. Please have a wonderful rest of the day. Any questions about this is welcome in the comment section. Thanks and have a nice day.